he's like, nah, we're just gonna take you in. And I'm like, take me in. Oh my God.
You wanna know my name, but I ain't giving it. I already peeped your game. I ain't feeling it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Kayla and I'm so glad to have you here. Today we are going to be doing a story time about how I went to jail. Yes, I went to jail. It's a mess. I put up a vote on my Instagram on which story I should talk about between going to jail and my devil worshiping roommate. And the winner was how I went to jail. I'm still gonna do the devil worshiping roommate story because that one came in kind of close, almost like a tie. So I am gonna do that story, so stay tuned for that. But today we're gonna be talking about how I went to jail. Get your wine, get your popcorn, get your tea, get something, because this is about to be a mess. So gather around, children. It's story time. So I had a friend, and we're gonna call her Taylor. So Taylor and I were friends. We started off as coworkers, and then we grew to be really good friends. And so around this time, she had given birth, so she left the job to go on maternity leave. She had her baby, and so we hadn't seen each other in a couple of weeks. So she had invited me over to meet the baby and to, catch up, girl talk, that whole thing. Later on in my visit to Taylor's house, her boyfriend comes over. And her boyfriend and her live together, so he comes home, and her sister, shortly after him, comes over as well. So now it's myself, Taylor, Taylor's boyfriend, and Taylor's sister. And so when her son went to sleep, we all were up laughing, talking about nothing. And Taylor's boyfriend suggested that we play a game of Uno. And I'm like, Uno? I didn't even know they still sold Uno, but okay, let's play. So after a round of Uno, he suggests that we play drunk Uno. So he suggests that we play drunk Uno. And so everybody's game, we're like, yeah, let's play it, blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember, this was so long ago, you guys, I don't even remember how to play Uno anymore. But I remember that the gist of it was, if you lose, you take a shot. So I was trying to watch my alcohol intake because I was not trying to spend the night over at Taylor's house. And, I wanted to go home at some point. So my objective was to not lose the game. And if I do have to take a shot, take like a baby shot or something, right? During this time though, during the duration of me at Taylor's house, I was talking to this guy. And y'all, I'm a fiance now, but at this time I was talking to this guy, and we weren't even talking. I wouldn't even call it talking. We were in like a flirtationship, if you will. That's the best way I could describe it. We were like in a flirtationship. We're gonna call him Michael. So Michael and I were texting during my time at Taylor's house, and he was trying to get me to hang out with him. Michael had been trying to get me to hang out with him for the longest, whether it be going on a date, me going to see him coming to see me. It was always a back and forth because I just wasn't trying to hang with him. I don't even know why. I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it. I don't know really what it was. I know that he had some type of situation going on too. So I just was like, nah. This particular time, I had been drinking. That's a mistake right there. I shouldn't have been texting him while I'm drinking. But anyways, so I was talking to Taylor and her boyfriend and her sister about it, and they're like, girl, go see him. Why not? You single, he's single, go see him. What's the problem? And I'm like, okay. So the more I'm drinking, because at this point, I don't even think we was taking shots because we lost. I think we was just drinking to be drinking at this point. So I was drinking, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go see him. So I text Michael, let him know I'm gonna come see you, and we're gonna hang out, and we're gonna chill, whatever. He's like, oh, great, bet, can't wait to see you, all of that. So then, at this point, I am tipsy. I'm right here. It's feeling yourself, tipsy, drunk, dead. I was here, like feeling myself. So I'm feeling myself, but like almost to that point of tipsy, but not. Right. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go home, because at first I was gonna go just straight to Michael's house from Taylor's house, but I was not looking cute. I had on lounge clothes because I was going to see my girl. Like I wasn't going to see, a guy, so I wasn't trying to look cute. But I remember I had on like a regular t-shirt, maybe some sweats. I know I had on a hat, and my hair was like in a low bun. So like chill stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna go home instead of going straight to his house so I can get cute. Like, he been asking me to hang out with him. Like the one time I'm gonna do it, I wanna look cute. I tell everybody goodbye. I'm gonna go home, get dressed. I'm gonna go see him, and I'll tell y'all, how it go. And they're like, okay, cool, have fun. Let us know when you make it home, and yada, yada, yada. Now I'm on the way home, and I finally make it home, and I'm getting dressed. I'm doing my makeup. I'm putting on my cute outfit. I had taken a shower, all of that. This time in my life, I was living with my mom, and my mom was like, girl, where are you going? Like, why are you leaving the house so late? Because at this point it was like 11 o'clock, and then sometimes it takes me a minute to get ready, so I didn't end up leaving the house till like midnight, really, like close to midnight rather. So my mom was like, where are you going? Like, it's late, you don't need to be going out so late, what are you doing? But I'm like, Mom, I'm going to see Shay Shay. Shay Shay is my best friend, by the way. But we're gonna have a little slumber party. Lying, I'm so sorry, Mom. So she's like, okay, it's still late, but all right, just let me know when you make it to Shay Shay's house and be safe. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now this is the real mistake. What I did was I took my mother's tequila that she had, and I put it in the bag, and I packed it with me to go to Michael's house. And I had told him like, oh, I got tequila, like we can, drink and da-da-da. And he's like, oh, cool, like, yeah, we could do that. And y'all, first of all, I'm getting uncomfortable with this story, because it's like when you tell a story, you relive the mistakes you made, and this whole story is a ratchet ass mistake. So I packed the tequila, and I'm out the door on my way. So I called Shay Shay as I'm on my way to Michael's house to let her know, like, hey, if anybody asks, I'm with you. I told my mom that I'm coming to see you, and we're gonna have a summer party. And I was gonna go to Shay Shay's house though eventually. I wasn't trying to spend the night over at Michael's house, none of that. I was gonna go to Shay Shay's house after. So she's like, okay, yeah, cool, let me know. She knew about Michael, like it wasn't, too much to know, but she knew, like, who he was and all of that. So she was like, okay, let me know where he lives. Let me know his license plate. Like, I need to know where you are, and text me on your way. I'm gonna leave the back door open for you. Her and her roommates used to always leave the back door open. It was a safe area, and that's just what they did. So she was like, text me when you're on your way, but still come in the back door. It'll be open for you. That's the plan. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll let you know when I make it there, and I'll let you know when I'm on my way, and boom. So I get off the phone with her, and I am continuing to go to Michael's house. Now, Michael's house was like in the Marietta area, and I live in like on the north side of Georgia, like in Duluth. So Duluth to Marietta is not a short distance. Like, it's low-key kind of far. What was I thinking? First of all, because this is embarrassing. This is when it really got, what the hell are you doing, Kayla? So as I'm on my way to Michael's house, and I'm driving, because like I said, it's a distance, so I'm having some time to think. My tipsy, feeling myself level started to wear off, and I'm coming to my senses, and I'm starting to, be rational, and starting to realize, like, this ain't a good idea. Like, it's almost midnight. This is a bad idea. This is a bad look. Why am I even going over this dude's house? Like, what am I doing this? But the other part of me is like, I'm already far away from my house, and I'm not near Shay Shay's. I might as well just go at this point. And, a part of me did want to go at this point. So it's like, I didn't already came this far. Like, I might as well just continue to go. I already told him I'm coming. Like, let me just go. And in order to, I guess, silence the rational part of my brain that was saying, girl, get your ass home, which was what I like to consider the Holy Spirit, I decided to try to silence that voice with taking a sip of the tequila that I had packed. Y'all pray for my old self. I drank some of the tequila, and thinking that it would silence the voice saying go home, it actually made it louder. So then I take some more. I drink some more to try to make it go away or whatever. And long story short, the voice saying go home ain't never go away. So the whole point of me drinking was for nothing. At this point, I don't realize that the sips that I took probably weren't even sips. They probably were like a gulp. I didn't feel it yet, but keep listening to the story. After I did that, I am starting to get close to his house. And when I got like 2 minutes away from his house, it was a QT, which is a gas station if you're not from Georgia. And I decided to stop at the QT because I'm like, I don't want to smell like alcohol. This tequila is strong. And, you know, tequila is normally always strong. It come out of your pores. And I didn't want to smell like a drunk. So I'm like, because body spray is not enough. So I'm like, let me go in here and get me something fruity, maybe some juice, some candy, some gum, something, so I don't smell like alcohol. So I stopped at the QT. I parked perfectly, wasn't missing a beat. Get out my car, go in the QT. Now, when I got to the QT, I saw that there was a police car there, but it didn't faze me none because I'm not driving crazy. I'm just like, let me just park right and act right and be back on my merry way. So I go inside of the QT and I get my items, which were, I think, some juice. I got some Starburst and some gum, I think. Then I come back to my car and I'm on my way. Now, this is QT, right? This is like an exit to get out to another street, like a side street. And you pull up, and I remember there was like a light right there. And then after that light, then you go this way. And this is the main street that leads you to Michael's house. And like I said, I was like 2 minutes away. I don't even know if I was a full 2 minutes away or like a minute, but I was extremely close to his house. I exit, go up to that light. The light was a stoplight. Then I proceed and I'm going straight. Before I could even get to the end of this main street, I see police lights. Now, this is how you know that alcohol got to me, because my ass didn't even know that those police lights were for me. So I'm still going. And I was the only one on the road, so I'm still going. I didn't know that they were for me. Then they turned the siren on, and I was like, or whatever. And I'm like, when they turn those sirens on, y'all, I swear to God, my heart dropped and my stomach dropped. It's like when you're doing something that you're not supposed to do, and then the police pass you by, or you see police lights, everyone always like goes like this. But when those lights was on for me, then I'm like, oh my God, like I panicked, but I'm like trying to keep it in, because I'm thinking like, because I had my phone in my hand as well, trying to figure out where I was, and I was texting Michael to let him know like I'm about to pull up or whatever. So I'm thinking, okay, they probably stopping me because they saw my phone in my hand. So I'm already trying to configure a story, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell them that I was texting, because at this point I'd rather get a ticket for texting than go to jail for drinking and driving. So y'all, so they stop me. I pull over and I get my driver's license out, and I'm ready, and I got my story ready, and I'm just like sitting there with my hands on my steering wheel, like praying. And I had texted Michael too, like, yo, I just got pulled over. And then I threw my phone. I'm like this, stiff as hell. And so the police officer, I'm seeing him through my rear view mirror, my side mirror, and he's coming, and each step he's taking, my heart is beating and about to just fall out of my chest. And so he comes to my window, he taps on my windows with his little flashlight, and I roll my window down, and he's like, hey, how are you tonight? And I'm like, hey. I hate when police be trying to play those little stupid mind games with you, because why are we even doing this? Just do what you gotta do. But he's like, hey, how are you tonight? And I'm like, good, how are you? And then he's like, do you know where I stopped you? And I'm like, because I was texting. That's why you stopped me, because I was texting, and I'm just already foaming at the mouth with all this telling on myself. I learned a lot from this story. Don't be doing all this talking, but I'm not finna just listen. So I'm like, oh, I was texting and da-da-da-da and whatever. And he's like, have you been drinking? And I was like, no. Yes? No? I was like, cause he just looking at me, and I'm like, no, yes, no. And he's like, which one? And I'm like, I had a glass of champagne. He's like, just one? I'm like, yeah. Or maybe two. First of all, why the hell did I say champagne? But that was like the first thing that came to my mind that didn't sound too bad, because I ain't gonna say I was drinking tequila. And so he's like, okay, well, do you mind taking a breathalyzer test for me? And I'm like, sure. So he brings out this little device that you're supposed to blow into, and it tells you your alcohol content or level, whatever. And so I blow into it, and I'm blowing, and the device doesn't work. So I don't know if he called another officer or if they were already on their way, because he stopped me. I don't really know, but another police car pulled up shortly after with another device so I can try to use theirs. This device doesn't work either. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, God is looking out for me. Like, I'm not gonna go to jail. Like, this is not working. Maybe I don't know. So, no. So he was like, okay, can I have you step out of the vehicle? When he said, can I have you step out of the vehicle, I thought I was gonna die. At this point, now I'm crying. But I step out of the vehicle. And he asked me to step out of the vehicle to do a sobriety test, like with the walking on an invisible straight line, which I think is dumb, but that's neither here nor there. Girl, I'm hearing noises. So I do the walking on the line thing. Now, first of all, y'all, I've been dancing and gymnastics, stunting that requires a significant amount of balance for a long time. Since I was like 5 years old, I've been doing cheerleading and all that. So, and at this point, because I'm panicking and shit is getting real, I'm sobering up. So when he asked me to step on the invisible line and you're supposed to walk on it without, like, you know, leaning and wavering, I'm doing everything that he's asking me to do perfectly. I'm thinking that I'm passing. And once I stopped doing all these odd things that he was asking me to do, he looking at his partners like they're just looking around. And no one's saying anything. Everyone is just quiet, looking at each other. And I'm like, did I pass? Like, I asked him that. I was like, did I pass? And he's like, he never answered the question. He was like, we just don't feel like you're safe to drive right now. And I'm like, okay, well, can I call my mom? And he's like, nah, we're just gonna take you in. And I'm like, take me in, oh my God. And then so I just start crying, and I'm doing the most extra dramatic, extra hysterical, because like I'm never been to jail before. Like, I don't know what the hell to expect, so I'm just like going crazy. And then they didn't even handcuff me. They just put me in the police car. And at this point, when I'm in the police car, I'm looking out the window, and it's looking like it's raining outside because of my tears. And I'm so dramatic. Like, in my head, I'm singing the song in my head, I'm hearing the song from Mary J. Blige that goes, no more pain, no more pain. So I'm thinking that in my mind. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, it's a bunch of guilt, it's regret, it's shame, it's all this stuff. So then I'm talking to the police, and I'm like, are they gonna beat me up in there? Like, oh my God. He's like, no one's gonna beat you up in there or whatever. So we drive and we get to the police station, and when I get there, they're, you know, asking me questions, taking my jewelry, taking like all of my belongings or whatever, and I just throw up. I just vomit everywhere. I just started vomiting. That didn't help me at all. So any doubt that they had that I wasn't drinking, or any doubt that they had that I could have possibly went home, left. One can say that I was throwing up because of the alcohol, which obviously most likely that was from that. But I think it was a mixture of stress, being overwhelmed, the alcohol, and like just my body was just not functioning correctly. So I vomit everywhere. And so that's the last thing I remember. Now, after that, I wake up in a jail cell. I don't remember going to sleep in there. I don't remember getting in there. I just remember waking up, and it's all white brick type of walls. Like what you would think a jail cell looks like. This is what it looks like. It's all white walls, brick like walls, and a bunk bed. It's like I was on the bottom bunk bed, and it's a top bunk bed, and nobody was in there with me. I was by myself. And then I woke up with a plate of food next to me. It was like in a to-go container, you know, the ones that got the two sections and the one big section like that. This food looked a hot mess, and I was not about to eat it. It was like cold cornflakes, not Frosted Flakes, cornflakes, halfway frozen bread, some bologna, and like some fruit. And I don't even know what kind of fruit this was. It was like it looked like creamed corn, but it was fruit. I don't know, but I just looked at it and left it there. Number one, I couldn't even eat if I wanted to because I had been drinking. Then it was a steel door with like a small like opening of a window, and this window was like kind of foggy, so you can't even see out of there. But I just start banging on the door, and I'm like, let me out. And then a female officer comes to the thing, and she opens the steel door, and she's like, are you ready to act right now? And I'm like, yes. Like in my head, I'm like, was I acting crazy? Like, what the heck? What did I do? So I'm just like, I didn't even ask her that. I'm just like, yes, I'm ready to get out. I'm ready to act right. Whatever you talking about, yes. And so she lets me out, and now she has me go sit down in like a chair. And these chairs around me, it looks like a DMV waiting area. So you know how at the DMV, it's like a whole bunch of black chairs, and it's like these screens up top, and you like waiting for your number to be called. This is what this looks like. But on the screens, it's a Bell's Bonds commercial. Is it Bell's Bondsman? Whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Commercial playing. It's like the same one, the same couple of three reoccurring. So I asked to use the phones, and I called my mom. My mom answers every single call all the time for me. She calls me all the time. She answers every phone call. This has been for the entirety of my life. Why? When I go to jail, she does not answer the phone. I mean, does not answer the phone. I thought I was gonna die. She don't answer the phone. I called like 5 times. She never answered, nothing. So I'm like, oh my God, like what am I gonna do? Like, I didn't really remember anyone else's phone number, because at this point we don't remember phone numbers. Like, we are so used to texting a contact. Like, it's not like back in the day where you remember your best friend's number. Like, I don't remember nobody else's number but hers. So she's not answering the phone. So I'm trying to think, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna stay here forever. So I'm gonna leave it there for tonight. That is part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, because part 2 is when it gets real. Please like and subscribe, comment below if you have any questions, and we are going to get to part 2 next time. So love you guys. Bye.